Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fact Friday. I'm Martin Padilla. Memorial Day is fast approaching, and in this edition of Fact Friday, we're going to be talking about the importance and purpose of Memorial Day and the different ways that you can observe Memorial Day all while still practicing social distancing. And to give us more information, we have Paul Albright, who is the Chief Military Officer to the City of El Paso. Paul, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for your service.
Thank you. Yeah, so I retired out of the military after just about 30 years in the military. So I've been in there for quite a while, and I got hired on as a chief military officer. And I tell you what, during my 30 years of service, it has been an absolute honor to serve with the most amazing men and women that you would ever come by.
You transitioned from the military to now the civilian life. Can you just tell us, right now, currently working for the city of El Paso as a chief military officer, briefly, can you just summarize what that means for our community?
But what it means for the community is I'm your voice. I'm the liaison from the military community and the veteran community to the city leadership, to the state leadership, and in some cases the federal leadership as well. To voice your concerns, frustrations, to look at programs and policies to make sure that they are effective, make sure that they are providing services that they are intended to provide. It's to listen and to learn and to look at new innovative and initiatives to provide to our veterans and to our military so they can have the quality of life that they deserve.
And so obviously you have a very solid grasp of the military life and history, which is why we're glad you joined us on this edition of Fact Friday, because we're going to be talking about Memorial Day. Can you provide a brief history of how Memorial Day came about and how it's such an important day of remembrance and why it's important for us to recognize this day?
Yeah, absolutely. So Memorial Day is a very, very important holiday. It's a very somber one as well. And it began actually. It was known as Decoration Day. And Decoration Day was started in May of 1868, so a really long time ago. And General John Logan was his name. So he was a general that was retired, and he was in charge of a veteran organization. And he was also a U.S. congressman, and he put forth the idea in 1868 to do a decoration day after the Civil War, where 620,000 casualties had occurred. So when you look at 620,000 killed in action, we're talking about a grave in just about every city and state in America. So what he proposed was on Decoration Day that you go out and you provide fresh flowers and a flag on every gravestone of every fallen soldier. So when he proposed that, it took off like wildfire. And of course, every state in the Union immediately said, yes, absolutely. And it became Decoration Day. And it was a decoration day for quite a while, a very long time. And then after World War One, where we sustained some significant number of casualties as well, that's when they started to call it Memorial Day, because they wanted it to be not just inconclusive to the Civil War casualties, but to all casualties of war. So it became Memorial Day. And then not until, and so it was always on May 30th. That's the interesting thing too. It was always on the same date, May 30th. And the reason they picked May 30th was there was no significant Civil War battle that had happened on May 30th. So there was no remembrance of a battle. There was nothing of that day. That was a day of rest that they look at. So it's a very significant day. It was May 30th. But then in 1968, they decided, they came up with the Unified Monday Holiday Act, and where they put everything kind of on a Monday, like Labor Day and Memorial Day got lumped into that. So right now it's the third Monday of May, and it will always be the third Monday of May unless somebody decides to go back to May 30th. But that's when it is, and that's a day of remembrance for all of our fallen soldiers.
And I mean, picking up on that, a lot of people use this special day as a time for barbecue and get-togethers, and you have people saying Happy Memorial Day, but Can you just explain what this is? I mean, you touched on it a little bit, but can you talk about why this is more of a somber day, really more of a time to reflect?
So the way that I look at it is this: it is definitely a day of reflection. It's a day of remembrance. But these men and women service members fought for our country for a purpose. And that purpose is to allow you to go out and barbecue. It's to allow you to go out and do whatever it is that you feel you can do, because you're under a breath of freedom. And that's the freedom that we've provided over those years of service. And they died protecting that right. So the reason it's so important to remember is you have to look at the sacrifice that was made to provide that right. And I wrote down just a few stats. The Civil War had 620,000 soldiers killed. World War I had 116,000. World War II, 405,000. Korea, 33,000. Vietnam, 58,000. The Iraq and Afghanistan war, over 7,000. And this year alone, we've had 90 U.S. soldiers that has been killed since January. So those service members, both men and women, have laid their lives on the line just so you can barbecue. So go ahead and have fun. Go barbecue within the social distance guidelines, right? But you're free to do that. We'll only ask that you remember why you can do that. And you can do that because of these men and women who have provided, who have gave the ultimate sacrifice to their country.
Yeah, of course. So, I mean, we're talking about social distancing and all of that. During this pandemic, people might struggle on how to observe such a unique holiday, Memorial Day, and other holidays as well. But how can the public show respect and remember our fallen heroes and still follow those health guidelines?
So there is a national moment of silence. It's at 3 p.m. It's local time. They didn't decide to do it all at once, but it's 3 p.m. wherever you are. They ask you to just take one moment of silence to pause and reflect upon those that have given their lives. So that's very important. The American flag, regardless of your view on the government or whatever it is, it's the American flag. It represents your country. Fly the American flag, fly it proudly. We ask that you fly it for half mast only until noon. And then after noon, you put it all the way up, pull it full mast, put it all the way up. If you don't have a flagpole, it's okay. You could put a little flag, any flag. Just put something on your car, put something in your yard, fly the American flag proudly, because you're flying it for America and you're flying it for the soldiers and the servicemen and women who have given their lives. The other thing is the red poppy. So you'll see veteran service organizations handing out the poppy when you're with a donation of $1 or whatever. Matter of fact, a lot of times they'll just give it to you even if you don't donate. The red poppy was significant after World War I, when a poem was actually written and on the battlefield, and they saw soldiers that were dying in a field of red poppies. And so they wrote a poem about it. So the red poppy now also signifies the remembrance of your fallen loved ones that gave their life. But the other thing you could do is you could thank a service member. Just thank them for their service. It's very important. Well, it's always welcome. It's always important. There is one do not do though. Do not say Happy Memorial Day. Don't say Happy Memorial Day, because it's a day of reflection. It's a day of remembrance. It's almost like saying Happy Day your grandpa died. It's not right. It's a lot of us have had very close friends that have passed. Some of us have had their husbands. Some of us have had their daughters, their sons that have been killed. And this is their day to remember their sacrifice. And so they're actually in a little bit of mourning of that day. And so once again, I say go out and celebrate your day. Enjoy your day under the freedom the umbrella of freedom that the service members have provided you, but just take that 1 minute to reflect on that sacrifice.
Yeah, no, I mean, those are all, great suggestions and ideas. So thank you, Paul, for joining us on this Fact Friday, and thank you again for your service.
Absolutely. And I would just like to thank every service member out there right now who might happen to hear this, every veteran who has served out there. Thank you for your sacrifice. Thank you for the military spouses, the veteran spouses, the dependents, everybody who has given a part to the service of their country. I thank you for what you do. My name is Paul Albright, once again, the Chief Military Officer. You can go to the El Paso website, elpasotexas.gov, and you can see my information. If you're in need, you need help, please go to the Veteran Resources page. Look at the many resources that we have upon there. If you're not finding what you're looking for, my email address is on there. Please email me. The only reason that I work today is to help. I am a retired Command Sergeant Major, and I should probably get an RV and just travel the countryside, but I'm committed to serve. So that's what I do. That's why I'm working for El Paso. I love El Paso, and I just want to help our veterans and our military community. So thank you.
No, thank you. We appreciate everything that you've done and are currently doing with everything.
All right, great. Well, thank you very much, Mark.
Thank you. Thank you. We know that the Park and Recreation Department will be opening the trails this weekend. Likely many of you will be heading out to one of the beautiful trails. If you do go out, we do urge you to please practice social distancing, stay 6 feet apart from one another, from people who don't live in your home. And if you're feeling sick, please don't risk it. Stay home. Lastly, with the trails being open, all city parks and recreation areas will remain closed during the Memorial Day weekend. And until further notice, due to not only health but also budgetary impacts, there will be no picnic gatherings, no sport games, or any other activities. Those are still not permitted in city parks. Now, if you need any more information, please don't hesitate. Visit our social media sites and visit epstrong.org. And we'll see you guys on the next Fact Friday. Paul, thank you once again for being a part of this one, and thank you for your service. Is there anything else that you'd like to add?
Stay safe, El Paso. You're a city with heart.
Thank you once again, Paul. We'll see you guys in the next Fact Friday.